Good morning, students. How are you? Yes, I'm fine, and hope you are fine also at home. Stay at home, stay safe. Don't come out. But with the books, please take your geography book, open page number 26 today. Take the pencil in hand and then mark the important points that I emphasize. You remember in last class we had completed different spheres of the atmosphere. Different spheres of the atmosphere. Which is the last sphere? Yes, it's the exosphere, the topmost sphere. The exosphere is the uppermost layer of the atmosphere. Gases are very sparse, very less in this sphere due to the lack of gravitational force, and therefore the density of the air is very less. Now with that we can conclude that the gravitational pull is the important factor of the Earth's atmosphere. If there is atmosphere because of the gravitational pull of the Earth, and so there is atmosphere and different layers of the atmosphere. Though Earth is always at move, it has been able to retain the atmosphere to itself. Beside the atmospheric pressure and the different spheres and all that, today we are going to discuss the greenhouse effect. Now, here I would like to ask you, have you seen the greenhouse? What is this greenhouse? Greenhouse is the glass house actually. And in this glass house, people they plant plants. Different plants are planted. These days, this greenhouse is used for used by the farmers as well. Earlier, until now, also it is used by the botanicals for the experiments to carry out various experiments on plants. So greenhouse is the atmosphere made, artificial atmosphere made by building a glass house, so that the rays which is coming from the sun, very scorching hot sun rays, that will not be able to pierce through this glass, and the plants are safe. They get only necessary light. They don't get sun rays. They get sunlight alone. And so they are protected with this glass house. And this house is known as greenhouse. And so what happens is, when the greenhouse is protected, these green plants are protected by the glass house. This house, what happens is, you know that there is respirations on the plants also. So the condensation that takes place because of the heat of the gas that is exerted by the plants are not able to escape into the atmosphere because of the house. And so there is a greenhouse gas is protected, which the gas which is coming out from the greenhouse is very, very dangerous. It's not good for the ozone layer. It is pierced by this ozone layer. Okay, so greenhouse effect is warming, and that happens when certain gases in Earth's atmosphere trap in. As the greenhouse the gas are trapped by the gas which comes from the plant are trapped by the house, and it escapes through a small channel out into the atmosphere, which is very bad. So also in the atmosphere, there is a greenhouse is created. So that effect, that greenhouse effect we feel when there is the water vapor, water moisture, plenty of water moisture in the air that covers up the atmosphere, which does not allow the heat of the earth to escape into the atmosphere. The greenhouse effect is created. It's like blanket. When you cover yourself, when you feel cold, what you do? You cover with your blanket or your sheets. So what happens is air is not able to escape. The air that or the hot air or the heat that is coming out of your body is not able to escape into the air, and so you feel comfortable. You feel comfortable inside. That is the thing that is this kind of this is what happens in the whole atmosphere. So these gases which comes from the of the earth are trapped. So these gases let in light but keep heat from escaping. They don't allow to escape. Like the glass walls of a greenhouse, first sunlight shines onto the earth's surface where it is absorbed and then radiates back into the atmosphere. When it radiates back into the atmosphere, this greenhouse gas trap them. Greenhouse gas trap them and they don't allow to escape into the space. So the heat remains in the atmosphere. The more greenhouse gases are in the atmosphere, the more heat gets trapped. So scientists have known about this greenhouse effect since 1824, when Joseph Frontier, the Joseph Fourier calculated that the Earth would be much colder if it had no atmosphere. Yes, if there was no atmosphere, Earth will get cold. And therefore, sometimes scientists they say that Earth is not going to be destroyed with heat. It's going to be destroyed with cold. So it's going towards the ice age once again. That's what they say. I don't know what will happen. This greenhouse effect is what keeps the Earth's climate livable. This greenhouse effect keeps the creates a lively atmosphere where we are able to live. Without it, Earth's surface would be an average of about 60 degrees Fahrenheit cooler. 60 degrees Fahrenheit cooler. In 1895, the Swedish chemist Stave or Bennett Arius discovered that humans could enhance the greenhouse effect by making carbon dioxide. Enhance means increase. Greenhouse effect, creating the greenhouse gas. He kicks off 100 years of climate research that has given us the sophisticated understanding of global warming. So he kicks off. That means he denied. Kicks off meaning he denies this theory of global warming. He says that this global warming will not be there if there is no atmosphere. There will not be. It will be cold. It will be very cold, he says. So think of it. Impact of greenhouse gas. That the rapid rise in greenhouse gas is a problem because it is changing the climate faster. Some living things may be able to survive in, but also a new and more unpredictable climate poses unique challenge to all forms of life. That means climate change. Number one is climate change. Remember that. Climate change takes place because of the greenhouse gas. Historically, Earth's climate has regularly shifted back And fourth, between the temperatures like those we see today and the temperatures cold enough that large sheet of ice covered much of Northern America and Europe. So that's why they say that it's going towards the cold age, ice age. The difference between the average global temperature today and during those ice age is only about 5 degrees Celsius. 5 degrees Celsius. And so climate change, then the temperature becoming low temperature. Now, with concentrations of the greenhouse gas rising, Earth's remaining ice sheet such as Greenland and Antarctica are starting to melt those because of the global warming. So there is a up and down of the temperature in the Earth's surface. Somewhere you'll see ice is covered and the ice covers the whole area, whereas some area it is very hot, it melts, and so as the temperature rises, it melts the ice. The extra water could potentially rise the sea level significantly. So what happens as the mercury rises, the climate can change in unexpected ways. So climate change. In addition to sea level, rising of the sea level, weather can become more extreme. So today, these days, we get the extreme weather condition. So number one, climate change. Number two, rising of the sea level. Number three, the extreme weather condition. Extreme weather. Sometimes if it is raining, too much rain. Cold, very cold. Hot, very hot. This means more intense major storms will come. We have got a Amphan. Yes, Amphan recently. Amphan. And so storm, major storm, more rain followed by longer and drier drought. There can be rain, plenty of rain. Some area drought, no rain at all. So a challenge for growing crops. Farmers find so difficult. They grow nice crop this time. Plenty of wheat was grown, very nice, good crop of wheat we had. But what happened when they were about to gather the harvest? When they have the harvest, rained plenty of rain, and so this was a destruction. Changes in the range in which plant and animal can live, and loss of water supply that have historically come from the glaciers. And so these are the extremes. So extreme weather condition, climatic condition, weather and climate condition. Next one, global warming. Over the past 50 years, the average global temperature has increased at the fastest rate recorded in the history. And experts see that this trend, if it accelerates, then what happens? 16 hottest years NASA has recorded. Global warming occurs when carbon dioxide and other air pollutant and greenhouse gases collect in the atmosphere and absorb the sunlight. When these particles absorb the heat, they are very slow in cooling down. That means for a long time this hot is retained, heat is retained for longer period due to these particles. So normally these radiations would escape into the space, but this pollutant does not allow, they trap them. So heat is trapped, that cause the planet hotter. In recent years, China has taken the lead in global warming pollution. producing about 28% of CO2 emissions. Emission means coming out. The United States come in close to second. First is China. China has caused us to so much that we have to stay at home. Impact of global warming. We have seen the impact of greenhouse effect. Now, what is the impact of global warming? Scientists agree that the Earth's rising temperature is giving fuel longer and hotter heat waves. They are giving rise to the longer, hotter waves, hot waves. Hot waves, frequent droughts, heavier rainfall, and more hurricanes, storm coming from the sea. Hurricanes, these are the reasons. The Earth ocean temperature is getting warmer too, which means that the tropical storms can pick up more energy. So, global warming could turn the category 3 storm into a more dangerous category of 4 storm. Not only 3, 1 or 2, this is 4 storm. That means every now and then the storm will come from the sea. In fact, scientists have found that the frequency of the North Atlantic hurricanes have increased since 1980s, as well as the number of storms that reach the category of 4 and 5. See, the impact of global warming is being felt across the globe. Extreme, number 1, extreme waves have caused thousands of deaths around the world in recent years. It's very alarming. You can see for yourself. Number 2, melting of glaciers. Number 3, rising of sea level. Number 4, forest farms and cities will face troublesome new pests, new heat, heavy downpours, and flood, etc. Pest. Now we are having the what is that, locusts. These days we are attacked by not only COVID-19 but also locusts. Hope you know what is locust. This we are attacked by that. At least 3 states of western states have been attacked by locusts. Next, disrupt of habitat. The animals' living conditions will disturb. Allergies, asthma, infectious diseases. See, infectious disease, we are outbreak of an epidemic. We are already facing a change in changing the climate. Yes, changing of the climate. Every now and then, when it is not supposed to rain, it rains. So all these are the few things that you please go through and learn. Try to learn. This is just to revise and remind you. This video is to just revise and remind you whatever we have discussed. Okay. Stay safe.